There have been some very famous trains in film history. Some get blown up and derailed, while others get dropped into the river. And others have served as settings for various kinds of criminal activities. But there are few filmmakers who are as closely identified with trains as is Yasujiro Ozu. But the strange thing is, he doesn't actually show that many trains. One of his prototypical late films, Equinox Flower, begins at the train platform, but doesn't actually show a single train until the very last shot of the movie. And in Late Autumn, we have two different scenes, but actually the same exact shots. So why are his trains so iconic? On one hand, the answer to that question seems simple. Ozu's movies are very still. There's not that much action, although he took care to throw in subtle, choreographed movement where he could. So his trains stand out. But that can't be it, can it? There's got to be more to his trains than that. I think there's something different about these trains. Trains in film can be used to suggest a conflict between worlds. Here, the Bedouins attack the previously invincible Turks. I think this is one effective way of using trains in cinema, to notate an encounter with forces that seem to exist beyond an individual's ordinary set of powers. Sometimes this can be a source of hope. In 3:10 to Yuma, the trains are law-abiding protagonists' only hope, encountering the forces of evil in the Wild West. And in Hitchcock's films, the protagonists start to lose their sense of control when they encounter devious antagonistic forces on a train. This is where things get really out of hand. In a way, Ozu's trains are similar. It signifies an encounter with something beyond the individual protagonist's powers or sense of control. But what's different is that Ozu associates trains with couples and marriages. It's not about an adversarial confrontation. So it's time the characters are fighting against. There's very much the feeling that weddings, and life too, is a train one must catch. They have to get married, like this couple trying to figure out whether the other's interested or not. And trains stand for all this. There are a few different ways Ozu builds this association. He cuts directly from the train station to the wedding procession. He shows people who have fallen from the proper path of life associated with other modes of transportation. And this is what unmarried girls do. By contrast, as we've seen earlier, weddings are associated with trains. Here, two young women wave towards their co-worker going on her honeymoon. The father, who has finally accepted his daughter's choice of her husband, goes off to see her on a train. And I think this is where we approach the heart of Ozu's stories. There's no choice but to accept the passing of things. This couple does get married, that can't be helped. And here, the young woman's workplace friendship ends with the third woman's marriage. I think Ozu's trains highlight the way time passes us by without any special regard for our individual needs. And because this is a sentiment at the very heart of Ozu's stories, his trains can't but be iconic.